Hello and welcome to 2DTalk's Real Movie News. I'm Jayse and this is your weekly show from 2DTalk where we let you know what's happening in the entertainment world, what stars are making waves, what movies are in production and what movies are on the horizon. I'd like to apologise firstly for the absence of last week's show. We had some problems with our audio setup, but we are back, and this week sees the beginning of a new segment to the show, and that's the viewer trivia question, which I will be covering at the end, so stay with us for more on that. Also, I let you know what's flying and what's faltering both financially and statistically in the box office dive. So let's kick off with that. I'll recap from last week and also give you updates for this week. So let's start with Solo. Underperforming is an understatement with this movie, unfortunately. The movie grossed $103 million over the 4-day Memorial Weekend last week. Considering the movie went into the weekend projected at $130 to $150 million opening, the total didn't even beat The Hangover Part 2 in the all-time Memorial Day weekend chart, which sits at number 6, let alone beating out what it was predicted to, which was Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End at number 1 with $139 million. And the question is, was it too soon to release another Star Wars movie only 5 months after the last installment? Was the competition too stiff with the likes of Deadpool and Disney's own Avengers Infinity War? The movie has a reported $300 million budget before printing and advertising, which for a movie of this kind would be about $150 million. So the weekend seems extremely poor in terms of performance for this anthology movie. The last 3 Star Wars movies of this current generation were all previously released in December, giving each movie room to breathe and building anticipation from fans. But this is Disney's first summer release, and if the budget and expectations weren't so high, the resulting number from last weekend may not have been looked on so unfavourably. But as it stands, this is a failure from a theatrical standpoint. The movie received an A- cinema score, the first in the current iteration of Star Wars movies to do so. All the others, including The Last Jedi, received A scores, and it currently has a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, again the lowest of the 4, all ranging in the mid-80s to early 90s. It also looks like it lacked the 4-quadrant appeal that movies of this kind crave. These quadrants consist of males and females under the age of 25 and males and females over the age of 25. Solo's demographic shows that 58% of the audience were male and 64% of them were over the age of 25. Now overseas, the movie did not fare much better. It took in a total of $65 million worldwide. Here in the UK, which was also a bank holiday weekend at the time, the movie took in a meager $10.3 million, which is around the same as December's Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle and March's Peter Rabbit. Now, we can agree that Star Wars is a much bigger property than either of those 2 movies. If the movie continues on its current path, it looks likely to make a total of $525 to $575 million worldwide, which, as you know, off of a possible $450 million production in total, is not good at all. Now let's move on to the weekend just gone, and yes, the nails keep coming for Solo's coffin. The movie fell a staggering 65%, taking in $29.29 million in its second weekend. Now this is sadly no surprise. Overseas, it brought in just $30.3 million, with a worldwide total of $264.2 million. So that $525 to $575 that I just mentioned is seeming more and more unlikely. One saving grace at least is that the movie landscape is relatively clear until the release of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom on June 22nd. But that is not the case here in the UK, which sees the latest dinosaur flick being released on June 6th, squashing any earlier info that the movie was being pushed back for the FIFA World Cup, so yay for that. Moving on to Fox's Deadpool, which took a 46% drop in the box office, but still took the number 2 spot, taking in $23.3 million, taking its domestic to $255 million. Internationally, it took back the number 1 spot from Solo and brought in $41.5 million, with a total of $344 million, tallying its global to $600 million. The movie also got its Japanese release to the tune of $5.5 million. In third place, Adrift, the survival drama from Styx, took in $11.5 million from over 3,000 locations domestically. This puts it on par with movies like McFarlane USA and Everything Everything, and just ahead of The Mountain Between Us. It did, however, receive a lower cinema score than those movies, with a B compared to their A and A minuses. The movie is definitely its namesake, as it remains adrift during this competitive blockbuster season. The movie unsurprisingly skewed female with 62% of the audience, and 90% of them were 18 years or under. The overall audience score, however, was over the age of 25, meaning this movie is far too niche for its current release time. Marvel's Avengers Infinity War finished in 4th place with 10.37 million in its 6th weekend, giving it a domestic of 642.8 million. Its international numbers brought in 24.3 million for a global total of 1.966 billion, maintaining its number 4 position in the all-time worldwide. It is now just 35 million from entering into the prestigious $2 billion club, and about 100 million off of catching up to The Force Awakens to take the number 3 spot. Rounding up the top 5 is Paramount's Book Club, which continues to perform well for its target demographic, falling only 30% last week and 32% this weekend just gone, for 10.3 million. Its total domestic is around 47 million in just 17 days since its release. At number 6, Blumhouse Tilt's Upgrade. It took in an estimated 4.46 million. This micro-budget movie surpassed expectations and was able to garner the best reviews from the weekend's releases. Exiting polls were extremely positive, with 46% of the audience saying that it was a definite recommendation, and it scored best among young males, which was the movie's target demographic. 90% rated the movie either excellent or very good. Johnny Knoxville's highly unmarketed Action Point failed to impress, taking in just 2.3 million, the lowest of the 3 releases. It is now ranked among the worst opening for a movie featured in more than 2,000 screens. And finally, the battle for the mid-rangers continues, with Life of the Party, Breaking In and Overboard all released around 4 or so weeks ago, showing almost identical percentage drops and almost identical domestic totals. So that's it from the box office dive. Check back next week to see how the box office is shaping up. And the first story of the day is Happy Time gets sued by Sesame Street. So following the success of the trailer released last week, the Happy Time murders have enjoyed wide appeal from many. But it looks as if it has to face opposition before the movie is even released. The creators of Sesame Street have filed a lawsuit for punitive damages against the film's producer, Styx Productions. Of the matter, they said, even though they find the film indescribably crude, it is not their wish to block the movie, only to deal with the misappropriation of the film's tagline, No Sesame, All Street. According to the lawsuit, the children's TV show will be harmed by the film's trailer, which features explicit, profane, drug-using, misogynistic, violent, copulating and even ejaculating puppets. They are stating that the tagline for the movie has confused and appalled viewers, and that there have been complaints. Firstly, who exactly is appalled and confused? I don't think it's the children calling in to make these complaints, and if children who watch Sesame Street have seen this trailer, then maybe the parents need to use more parental controls on the devices that their children are using. The movie is directed by Brian Henson, son of the great Jim Henson, the man who helped launch Sesame Street back in 1969 and later went on to create The Muppet Show. Styx issued a response via a character from the film, a lawyer named Fred, saying the movie was the untold story of the active lives of Henson's puppets when they're not performing for children. It continued on to say, while we're disappointed that Sesame Street does not share in the fun, we are confident in our legal position. The movie is set in a world where humans and puppets coexist, but when puppets from an 80s TV show called The Happy Time Gang start turning up dead, it's up to a disgraced cop and his ex-human partner, played by McCarthy, to solve the murders. What do you guys think? Should Sesame Workshop be suing, or should they just relax on the subject and hope that their viewers, or should I say the parents, will have the sense to realise this is not for their children? Please comment below and let me know about what you think. And story number 2, John Wick amps up its cast. Now, with John Wick 3 well in production, it's making more headlines by adding some very interesting cast members to the roster. We know that Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane and Lance Reddick are all returning to their roles, but it was announced that Halle Berry will be joining as an assassin that will not be a villain to Keanu's Wick. But also, Angelica Houston from Addams Family fame, among other things, is playing the role of the director of The High Table. Asia Kate Dillon from Orange is the New Black and Billions will be playing the adjudicator of The High Table. Jason Mantzoukas from Netflix's Big Mouth as TikTok Man, and Mark Dacascos as Zero. It is unclear of the roles they have, but I'm pretty sure that they will not be helping out Wick. They'll be hunting him down. The The cast news doesn't stop there. Fans of The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2 will be excited to know that Yayan Ruhine and Saisep Arif Rahman, both of which who had cameo roles in Star Wars The Force Awakens, will be appearing as professional killers that Wick has to face off against. And finally, Tiger Hu Chen, a martial artist star who performed stunt work for the latter Matrix films and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, will bring his fighting skills to the production as well. The story will pick up right after the events of John Wick 2, which sees Wick, a former assassin with a $14 million price tag on his head and an army of bounty hunting killers on his trail. After killing a member of the shadowy International Assassins Guild, the High Table, Wick is excommunicado, but the world's most ruthless hitmen and women await him at every turn as he tries to fight his way out of New York. From the quiet and unbelievably low-key beginnings of the first movie to the heights that we are up now, it's absolutely amazing to see how far this franchise has come. How excited are you guys to see Keanu reprise his role as John Wick? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so now for our new segment of the show, and that is Trivia Question. This is the section that gets passed over to you guys watching. So, how it will work is, I will ask you a movie trivia question, and the top 5 to answer the question first will get a shout out on next week's show. To answer, you will need to send us a direct message on Twitter. So just go to @2DTalk'Show, follow us and submit your answer through the direct message. The link to the Twitter page will be in the description below. So here we go, here's the question. Bruce Willis played a time-traveling criminal in what movie? There again, Bruce Willis played a time-traveling criminal in what movie? So don't forget to direct message us and I will give shout outs to the top 5 who I get a message through Twitter. So that's it from 2D Talk and this week's Real Movie News. Let us know what you thought about the topics and the box office. Comment below. Please like, share, and of course, show us the love and subscribe. Don't forget to catch us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Guys, you take care of yourself. Until next week, bye bye.